Ivan, what are you showing off from Axonius today? Let's see.
All right. Well, glad to be here. I'm here to show you Axonius Identities, which is a brand new product in our platform portfolio that unifies total visibility and total actionability across many mission-critical elements of identity management, governance, and security.
Well, you don't know, Axonius is known for asset management, and now really you're moving to identity management, and really what you've learned for asset management, you're sort of bringing over to identities, right?
That's exactly right. We learned a lot of lessons, many of them the hard way, in cyber asset management over the course of the past few years, and we saw a lot of similarities with identities, specifically around fragmented data, a bunch of disparate tooling, just trying to bring that into one place and help teams, IM program teams, which span IT and security, potentially even GRC folks that are involved in IM programs, just making sense of a lot of the management, governance, and security challenges that they run into.
All right, let's jump into it. What do you got to show us? This is cool. I've never seen this myself.
Yeah, it's brand new. We are officially launching this product next week, so
spanking new.
You're getting a very sneak peek in this. So the first thing we do is we connect with every downstream system, your SaaS applications, your identity providers, PAM providers, a lot of other kind of tools that have identities. We aggregate all that data, we bring it into one place.
So you're providing the connective tissues for all these. This is not being an SSO, but rather connecting the identity platforms.
Yeah, we're connecting directly via API, aggregating the data, cleaning it up. And once we get that data, there's a lot of things we can do with that. So that's what I wanted to show you here today. So we have a very powerful dashboard tool that allows you to build custom charts. I built this really quick for this demo. We're going to walk through just a sampling of charts and a sampling of the data that we're getting. So we get all the identity artifacts across human, non-human accounts, groups, roles, permissions, things like that. We can start to build out charts that look across, various things around things to think about identity lifecycle management. This is our demo environment. Nobody has recently joined the demo team, but we've got some movers, we've got some levers. We can look across, MFA adoption across every system, not just one. We're looking at various signals, strength signals. We're looking at different factors.
This shows you kind of the health of your identity program. I kind of like that.
Yeah, we're just baselining with some health here. Exactly. I think health, hygiene. If we look at hygiene, we can kind of look at, various signals. We're looking at things. Maybe we've got some stale groups. Maybe we got some empty groups.
With your beta test on this, what has been like the most used feature of it?
Right. So we're talking about visibility right now, but the main thing is taking action on that.
Okay.
So what we've been doing a lot is think about a lot of the governance use cases around trying to optimize least privilege access. So one of the things that we do is once we kind of get all that data into our system, we build out, these very robust profiles. We can look at things like application access. We can look at things like resource level permissions.
So I'm seeing individuals and what they all have access to here.
Yeah, so this is the kind of aggregated view of a single identity. And I'm just going to scroll through this. There's way too much to go through here. But one thing I want to highlight is, we're pulling this from different systems. Sometimes only Entra gives us data. Sometimes we're looking at GitHub, Google, Okta, ServiceNow, Slack, just to kind of get the full profile. We're able to look at, various relationships. So we look at the resources you have access to. We're looking at the devices that those identities belong to. Everything in this can be a query. It can be a dashboard. You can run automation against it. But this is really like the raw version of an identity data set.
Okay.
So what do you do with that? There's a couple things. One, let's just look at this. This is something that we built recently for this product. Looking at permission sets, first of all, calculating effective permissions is really hard when you're looking across all the systems. So we built this as kind of a really quick way to look side by side, compare users to users, users to groups, users to roles, just to kind of get a sense of who has access to what and start to use this for maybe some optimization exercises. There's a lot here to look at, so I'm just going to pop open this legend here. We can see, similarities. We can see differences. We can also see, of these entitlements, which percentage of the members of this, R&D group have the same permission sets.
So the idea is if all of a sudden you see one or two users have a permission that's different than everybody else, that's kind of a heads up. maybe I should investigate this. What's going on here?
Exactly right. Yeah. So in this example, we just filtered to show me what only this user has compared to the group. And we're looking at a few GitHub repositories here that have a demo name. So maybe they're building a demo. And so they haven't really coordinated with the rest of the R&D department. There's always optimization opportunities here. It does take some work to do this side by side. So if we want to look across the entire environment, another thing that our customers have been doing is using this visualization to simulate roles and do some role mining exercises
What
here.
the heck is this?
What the heck is this? That's a good question. The first time anybody sees this, that's the appropriate response.
Okay, good.
What we're doing here, and this is effectively a visual heat map of all entitlements. And what we're doing is we're looking at similarities and we're looking at differences and kind of clustering things based on similarities.
So what does dark versus light mean here?
Here we're in Google. We've got a bunch of different roles that have similar identity accounts. I'm just going to highlight this whole damn thing.
Okay.
And say, look, we've got all these roles. Look, there's 6 pages of roles. They have very similar identity entitlements, which means this is probably a good thing to clean up if I were to really optimize least privilege. So we got a help desk role, a seat admin role. So somebody's just creating roles. Role sprawl is like the easiest thing to deal with. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So these are a lot of this look like a ton of shared accounts is what this looks like.
Oh, totally. Right. So, even in a demo environment, you can see where the sprawl gets dangerous. So our customers have been, once they aggregate all the data and they start to poke around, this is a good way to kind of visualize where you have optimization opportunities, where can you clean up some permissions, but also where are some outliers? Maybe you've got one that's just wildly out there. Oh, great. We've got an org admin.
And this may not have been seen at this point or maybe down the road, but this exposes how messed up identity is.
Totally.
It exposes how people don't seem to care. We'll just create another account, create another account, create another account.
Yeah.
And then if each person has this power to keep doing that, they may not on all of them, but you don't have controls over the, 50 to 100 different tools that your whole environment is using at that time. So different individuals have different capabilities across all of them.
That's exactly right.
My feeling is something like this, while it looks like a great administrative tool, gives you a pause and goes, all right, we need to have a talk with the staff.
I'm glad you said exactly that, because it really sets up the next thing I wanted to show here. Because as you can probably imagine, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work to go and drill down.
Even when you have all this information looking you straight in the face, it's still a ton of work.
Right. So what we're looking to do, and this is kind of a paradigm shift that, we think is really important, is shift from traditional role-based access controls, which is where you end up with all this sprawl, because you're manually creating these, you're manually assigning them to folks, you have to keep track of when people are moving and leaving the organization, to a notion of rule management. It's hard to say out loud, roles to rules, but the idea is that you, as an IT or an IM administrator, you want certain things to be true. It's just very hard to adhere to those policies because you've got different systems, different types of permission sets. But if you just want things to be true, what we're trying to serve here is a rule engine that allows you to define entitlements in one place and then enforce those as these teams change, as people join the organization, move or leave the organization, changing groups. The rule that you have set and have defined will then create and cascade down the appropriate policies, the appropriate group membership, and the appropriate assignments without having to go and manually kind of dig through something like the visualization that we just walked through. So what we're doing here, I just kind of started this, but in this sense, we've got Okta, we've got Azure ID. There could be a bunch of different systems here that have policy engines downstream. Mm-hmm. What we're going to do is we're going to make Axonius the enforcer of a rule, and we're going to create a query. Mm-hmm. I'm going to look at Workday. So let's just say Workday department equals R&D. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. R&D. Okay, so everything in Axonius is really anchored on these queries.
Mm-hmm.
What this is going to do, it's going to give us a list of folks, 316 users. Now, what we want to do is we want to set entitlements here as a rule.
Mm-hmm.
So across Okta, across Azure, we're just going to set a few entitlements. So entitlements are application access, they are group membership, they are role assignments. I'm just going to, not actually think about this, just grab a handful of these. Okay, some groups. Okay, we want them to get assigned these roles. We want them access to these applications.
So are you then now reassigning everything right now at that point?
We can. You can enforce it on when you save this rule. Or, you can pick up any changes. I think the intent is to mostly pick up any changes because we already kind of have, we've set the entitlements here. But yeah, so you can do it once, but once it's activated, the idea is that it will always pick up any directory changes, any lifecycle changes, and then make sure that the appropriate entitlements are managed effectively. So this idea of policy adherence is better done through rule management than it is through trying to maintain a whole bunch of rules. So right now, there's no change right now. But if I were to then, move somebody into this group, we're going to obviously see this, right out of the gate and make the right entitlements. And so you can manage a handful of rules a lot easier than you can a bunch of different roles across a bunch of different systems.
Right.
Now, because we are looking across the entire identity fabric, we're looking at every system, we get all the identity artifacts, we have this logic already that's doing similarity matching to build these clusters, we can start to surface recommendations about what rules to apply. If we notice that 80% of the engineering group has the exact same set of entitlements, we can surface that as a rule and say, hey, if you agree with this, the suggestion, apply it. And that way, anytime anybody joins that group, those entitlements get, assigned automatically. So over time, we can see this as a way to really surface, interesting findings about, hey, look, we noticed that this cluster has these same entitlements. Would you like to make a rule out of that? So we're removing a lot of the manual work just from shifting from role-based access to rule-based access. But we can also start to apply AI to this and really, cut down the amount of manual work it takes to create, manage, and just stay on top of all the permission sets. So yeah, that was a very fast walkthrough. This is a brand new product in the Axonius platform, but yeah.
And I'm sure if people want to see more with Axonius, they could just contact you or just Axonius.com as well. The URL is right there, but also the name of the company is right there as well.
Axonius.com. That is correct.
All right. Thank you so much, Ivan. Thank you so much for showing this off. Very, very cool.
Absolutely. Thank you for the time.